Hey, it's IT guy Sav with yet another video on the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus. First things you need to do when you purchase this device, part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, make sure you go and watch it. Alright folks, so let's go and check it out. If you watched my previous video, part 1, on first things you need to do with your iPhone 15 or 15 Plus, I did touch about the camera. Now, if you look at the camera, it just looks like any camera from the iPhone, right? However, it's a lot more than just what meets the eye. If you go to settings and you look for camera, you see something called grid, and you also see something called level. Now grid is available for various iPhone models. So if I turn that on, of course, I'm going to see lines across forming a grid. Level, if you turn level on, look what happens to the camera, okay? You won't be able to see it over here because the phone is pointing down. But once I turn on camera, you can see, of course, the grid that I spoke about. And over here where this little plus sign is, you're going to see a little level that comes in. It's going to look like a little line, and you'll be able to take fantastic photographs because your photos will be perfect and leveled. So that's one good feature of this level. Let's talk about the next feature. What I want to talk about is something called collections. Now, collections is basically wallpapers. So if I click on here and I exit out of here and I go into, let's look for wallpaper. So wallpaper would be right here. Click on wallpaper once. This, which is your lock screen and your home screen, makes up one collection. So that's my current collection. This will be a new collection, and you can keep adding new collections. If I click on the plus sign here, I'll be able to choose from photos, which I can add to my lock screen or my home screen, people, photo shuffle, live photos, emojis, weather. If I click on weather, it's going to ask for my location so that it can give me accurate weather, astronomy as well, and color. Whatever's over here will be over here, okay, at the bottom if you just scroll down. So that's weather, okay, and this is kaleidoscope, emotions, color. I'm going to touch on color today. So if I click on one, let's pick this color. So as you can see here, this one is 654. I can change this. I can change the setting by just tapping on it once, and I can kind of define the clock. Look how that's changing, and look how it's getting slimmer. Again, thicker. Okay, thinner, thicker. I can also change the color of this. So if I change the color of the time, right? Different colors. That's awesome. I can make the color dark, different gradients, shades of the color. So that's something I can do with it. If I click on add, it's going to add to that. Let's check the home screen. Now the home screen, also if I want, I can set it as a wallpaper pair, which means both these will be, the lock screen will be the same color and the home screen will also be the same color. I can set it as a wallpaper pair, or if I want, I can also customize the home screen. Let me customize the home screen and leave this lock screen as is. Now I can change the color, and it's going to change the color, okay? There you go. That's a purple. That's a pink. Okay, and I can also define the color shades. Okay, I can make it different colors the way how dark I want it, how light I want it, how well defined I want it. I can do that. I can also add a photo, or I can also add a gradient. Okay, so let's tap on gradient and let's check out this gradient. So I can have different types of gradients just by moving the slider. Isn't that cool? So let's stick to this one and click on done, and this will have a different color, and now this will have a different color. So there you go. I can change different colors. Let me just customize this. I don't really like the look of that. It's blending too much into the color that I've got. So I'm going to change the color to maybe, yeah, that's much better. I can see it. So I'm going to change that. It's a bright, and I click on done. So I can set this as a new wallpaper. Okay, and it tells you this is the current wallpaper. Like so, you can add more and more wallpapers or collections, as you call them. You know, once a pair of these will be a collection, I can add as many as I want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to my actual one, which is something I like. Like if you don't set it as current, this one will take effect. So make sure I have to make sure I set it as current. So now this is my current wallpaper. Okay, if I turn my phone off and I turn it back on, that's what you're going to see. Also, another way to get into your wallpaper collections is if you're on the lock screen and your screen unlocks using your Face ID, all you have to do is press and hold. Once you press and hold, you'll come across the same wallpapers we saw earlier. Earlier we went to wallpaper on the settings, but now we can just go here and we'll be able to do the same thing, a different way of getting into your wallpapers. What I want to talk about next is using Face ID. So you click on your settings and you see Face ID and passcode. Once you click on Face ID, it's going to ask you to enter your passcode. Once you enter the passcode, make sure all these are turned on. So iPhone unlocks with your Face ID. You can buy apps and iTunes using your Face ID, Wallet and Apple Pay, password autofill, other apps. There are 6 other apps. Now, if you scroll to the bottom, you see something called Require Attention for Face ID. Make sure these are turned on, attention aware features. I'm going to sum up what it tells you right here. Say, for example, you're asleep and someone uses your phone and tries to unlock it using your face. So when these features are turned on, require attention for Face ID and attention aware features, your phone will not unlock because the sensor over here needs your attention. So attention aware features, that's the one. And it also requires attention for Face ID. So probably the sensor needs your eyes to be open and looking at the sensor right here for your phone to unlock. So whatever attempts they try to do when you're asleep and they bring your phone close to you, so thinking, oh, well, the Face ID is going to unlock the face while the person is asleep, that's not going to work. So this is excellent features that Apple has introduced about require attention for Face ID and attention aware features. The next feature I'm going to cover is your control panel. Now, control panel is a very important feature because you're going to be using the control panel all the time, using apps on the go. And say, for example, you're somewhere outdoors and you just want quick access. What I usually like doing is I like turning on accessibility features. You see this little circle? If you click on accessibility, and all you have to do is click on touch and assistive touch, turn it on. So now assistive touch is available on iPhones. It doesn't have to be an iPhone 15. This little button over here, I'll show you what it does. So if I click on this once, it pulls up the control panel. Okay, the control center actually. Now, let's go back into control center. So control center over here. And control center allows you to add various apps. So say, for example, I click on this and I go to control center. These are all the apps I have. Now, this whole section over here, these cannot be altered. But this section over here, starting from this little house icon you see, those can be changed and they're customizable, okay? So let's go back here and say, for example, I want to add something. Let's do hearing. I want to add hearing. So hearing is back here, okay? And let's do text size. Okay, let's add text size. Let's try voice memos. So these are all added. Now, if I click on my control center, you can see here, the hearing, text size, voice memos. If I want to delete some of these, for example, the house, I don't need the home. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to go back into control center and just delete this with using this red remove. Okay, click on that, remove. Now, when I go back into it, you won't see the home again. What I like doing is I like moving apps that I use a lot on the top. For example, the torch, I use it a lot at night. Okay, if I have to wake up and I don't want to turn the lights on, to use the washroom, that's what I would use, the torch. So keep it on the top. The alarm or the stopwatch, that's something I like using too, the timer. Also like using the dark mode, right? So if I say, for example, I tap on this once, it's going to change to light mode. Tap on it once again, it goes to dark mode, okay? Dark mode on. Now, what I want to do is I want to move dark mode on because I use it a lot. So all I have to do is just click over here, okay, where these three dots, these three lines are, and you can see it moving. Just move it all the way to just after flashlight. Once you do that, and if I go back in the control panel, I'll see it moved here. So that's something you can always, shuffle and change depending on what your requirements are. I like the calculator being there too, so that's fine. Everything else looks perfect. Alrighty, what I also want to talk about, and final tip that I want to give you for the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus is, you can see going light brown. So this is called auto brightness. Now, the iPhone, what I want to do is I want to go take you into, let's do the search. So once I search auto brightness, I click on it once, it's going to take me to auto brightness. By default, auto brightness is turned on. What I would suggest is turning it off because this would depreciate the life of your iPhone battery. What it does is automatically during daylight, it's going to adjust the light. If you're standing outside somewhere, it's going to automatically move it. And sometimes it cannot be very accurate. It could not be good for your phone in the long term too. So what I like doing is turning it off. Okay, so once I turn it off, I'm good. My iPhone battery is going to last a lot longer compared to when this is turned on. Okay, so that's something I would actually turn off. And so right now I would be able to adjust. I like adjusting it by myself, and that's a good feature to have turned off if you want longevity for your iPhone. And that wraps up part 2 of first things to do with your iPhone 15 or 15 Plus. If you found that video useful, make sure you leave a comment or even subscribe to this channel. It's really going to help me, please. Until next time, you take care, and I hope to speak to you soon in my next video. Bye for now.